All right, so Aware is a custom biometric hearable platform used for remote brain monitoring. We do all of that within this little custom earphone where you can talk on the phone and also listen to music. But in addition to that, you can also use it for seizure detection. You can use it to develop biomarkers for Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's. You can use it to diagnose sleep disorders. And most uniquely, you can use it as a drug efficacy platform for pharmaceutical companies during their patient trials. And right now, we're working with Takeda Pharmaceutical to do just that. Now, the device is custom because it's created from our proprietary 3D ear scanner, which is now the industry standard in the hearing aid industry. It is the enabling technology. It enables us to obtain an EEG signal that can achieve real medical efficacy. It is a biometric hearable because it's located inside the ear, and we're leveraging the full anatomy of the human ear and its proximity to the brain, and that's why we can collect a myriad of biometrics, not just EEG, that are both accurate and also repeatable. And then Aware's an adaptable platform. We've got a continuous AI backend that can be adapted for specific medical domains like I mentioned, and then ultimately tied to the underlying medicine. But look, it's just not logistically or financially feasible to remotely monitor the brain today. We can do it for the heart, we just can't do it for the most complex organ in the body, the human brain. And if I want to get an EEG appointment at an EMU at a hospital, it's going to take me 3 to 4 months. I get there, I'm going to drop $5,000 a day for 3 to 10 days. And at the end of those 10 days that I've spent in the hospital, I could be out $50,000 and not obtain any useful data. Now, if I'm epileptic, I don't need 3 to 10 days. I need 3 to 6 months of data, and especially if I'm looking for biotemporal seizures. So Aware is going to enable ambulatory longitudinal studies for the brain. It's going to be cost effective. Now, in addition to that, you got the scalp electrodes that are attached to the head, that 10-20 montage. They're actually attached to the skull. They can't obtain that medial temporal lobe data, so they're missing key data points. So this winter, we're in patient trials at Mass General Hospital, the Harvard Teaching Hospital up in Boston, as well as Emory Healthcare in Atlanta, where we're based. And we're going to show, we're actually entering into, or working with intracranial patients that have the focalized epilepsy. But we're going to show that we can obtain that MTL signal, or at least, a derivative correlated signal. Either way, we'd be the first non-invasive device to do that. All right, so the business model is really threefold. We sell our units to pharmaceutical companies. This is $10,000 a unit. Phase 1, it's a couple hundred units for a drug trial. Phase 3 is a couple thousand units. We customize the platform per drug use case. With Takeda, they've got probably 20 drugs in their pipeline that are applicable to this device. But we customize it to meet their needs so they can better support their claims to the FDA. The second part of our business model is we're taking a seizure detection product through the FDA in 2020. All right, there's 50 million people with epilepsy globally. It's a $200 billion market. There's 1.1 million in the U.S. that are refractory, that are keeping patient diaries. I think we can do better than that. But really, it's the vanguard for the whole platform. We're pulling everything together, and then our licensees can predicate, off of our filing. And that's the last part of our business model, and that's licensing. We want to license the whole platform or subsets. We've already struck a license with one of the most valuable companies in the world that's only a handful of minutes from here. Pretty soon we're going to announce another license with one of the top hearing aid manufacturers in the world for a specific use case. All right, so the Aware platform is really comprised of 3 proprietary innovations, and then it's coupled with a global manufacturing and service capability. So the first innovation is the 3D ear scanner. Over $20 million was invested in the technology. It was designed by and for the hearing aid industry, but it's that 3D ear scan that optimizes the performance of a sensor in the ear. The second innovation is that we develop custom-shaped dry electrodes that you can wear 80+ hours a week like a hearing aid patient. Talk about collecting data. It fits so well you don't know it's in. You can sleep in it. You can take it home with you. You don't need help to administer it. And the signal doesn't degrade within hours like the scalp EEG. So it really enables the ambulatory longitudinal nature, of our product. The third innovation is combining digital signal processing with machine learning and biomedical informatics for specific medical domains. In terms of the manufacturing, we partnered with one of the top hearing aid manufacturers. They do our manufacturing and service. We will also license that to a licensee as well. But they're an investor, board member, and soon to be a licensee as well, so we're fully aligned. All right, so before I drill down on the 3 proprietary innovations, let's talk about the human ear and why it's the place to be for a sensor. Number 1, no 2 ears are alike. They're literally like snowflakes, which doesn't help. They're more unique identifiers outside the ear than a fingerprint. But once you get in the canal, which is where you need to place a sensor in order to have any real medical efficacy, that canal bends, not once, but twice. And in that second bend, there's a bony region. So if you stick a device in there and it's off by a millimeter, you can't wear it. It's excruciating. And the hearing aid industry had 1 million remakes a year with custom hearing aids. That was with silicone. So forget a universal device. It's not going to work. All right, now, in addition to that, the ear is a cavity, so you don't have muscle in the ear. And as you know, muscle's creating motion artifacts. That's a good thing. And then it's highly conductive, much more so than the scalp. And then it really helps that the ear's next to the brain and that there's a cavity between the middle ear and also the temporal lobe. All right, so this is our ear scanner. And we have a 2.8 millimeter probe that's going into the canal. And as you can see, the 3D model's being built on the right side of the screen, and then we have a video otoscope where on the left side of the screen, and that shows you where you're going in that canal. Now we're painting the ear with light. We're catching those hard-to-reach places like the helix lock and concha bowl, excuse me. And voila, you got your 3D model. Very fast. Any hourly employee can do it, and very simple. However, it was not simple to make, to design. And I'd like for all y'all to try to put a camera in a 5 millimeter diameter hole that's different every time. And by the way, once you get in that hole, it's got wax, it's got hair, it's got liquid, it's dark. I mean, it's a disgusting place. So we partnered with one of the big 6 hearing aid manufacturers, GN Store Nord. The big 6, if you don't know, controls 92% of the market. It is an oligopoly. 3 of those are based in Copenhagen. GN's one of those. And we worked with over 400 of their audiologists to design and build the product. And that's why it was designed and built for and by the hearing aid industry. Now, they needed us because of our inventions. We invented radial illumination. All 3D scanners today use forward illumination. Right? We're the first to be able to measure a small hole accurately and repeatedly within microns. We also invented the first integrated tracker in the world that could track inside a small cavity. And so you saw the fiducials on that dude's head. We have 2 custom infrared cameras on the front of the scanner. It is tracking those fiducials, so if the head moves or the hand moves, the geometry doesn't change, which is just hard to do. Now we've got a 3rd custom camera that's doing the reconstruction. We got custom optics, custom machine vision, 172 custom parts. We got the smallest white LEDs in the world on the distal end to illuminate the canal so you can see where you're going. And then we're moving 30 gigs of data per scan. All right, that's bursting USB 3.0 at the seams. The final file is only a meg, meg and a half. But most importantly, we're measuring in a non-contact way. So when you inject silicone in the ear, that artificially inflates the canal. That's why they had 1 million remakes in the hearing aid industry every year. When you're measuring in a non-contact way, you can capture the true geometry of the human ear in its natural state. And then what we want to do is leverage that true geometry to achieve a high signal-to-noise ratio. All right, so I've got my device right here, custom my ears. All right, Exhibit A. So it doesn't move because it's locked into the second bend. and that's what removes the motion artifacts. Also, I get perfect coverage on the sensor because it fits perfectly. And then we're putting the sensor in the same place every single time, and that's how we can build the learning algorithms. And then I'm sticking accelerometers and gyroscopes in the ear boards by the head so we can isolate that head motion and extract it. So we're really leveraging the full anatomy of the human ear and its proximity to the brain. That's how we achieve a high SNR. But you need a 3D ear scanner to do it. And you don't want to be the guy that owns that first telephone. He had no one to call. So I'm placing scanners in strategic locations around the world. And then my hearing aid licensee is rolling out 5,000 locations in the next 24 months. All of this is being subsidized by the hearing aid industry. Hundreds of millions of dollars are going into this distribution network. And I have a little marketing piece by the Otiscan Otometrics teams that really amplifies the importance of our technology to the industry that I'm going to play for you. It's the biggest thing to happen to the hearing aid industry since the digital hearing aid, and that was like 40 years ago.
I keep thinking how great it is that I found a new way. I mean, I'm really seeing the results in my clinic now, and I can tell that my patients are happy about it too. Plus, I'm getting so many more referrals than I did before. I guess it proves that these days, it takes a lot more than just being good at what I do. It's helped me to start engaging with my patients much faster. And it creates a perfect opportunity to make my counseling more personalized.
Meet Otoscan. Otoscan is the future of hearing care. It gives you powerful ways to attract and engage with more patients while delivering personalized counseling and solutions in an efficient way. Come with us. It's the way forward. Learn more at otometrics.com.
All right, when she hit send scan, that simple action just saved the hearing aid industry 20% on a per device basis. It reduced their manufacturing cost by 20%. Otometrics is already integrated into the workflows of the Big Six, and that's why they're subsidizing the rollout. They're also subsidizing the business model as well, but it will be a force multiplier, and I will leverage that distribution for my products and for my licensees every day of the week and twice on Sundays. All right, so custom-shaped dry electrodes derived from our 3D ear scanner, and they're built, in situ. They fit so well, I don't know they're in. It's like an extension of your body. That's why you can sleep in it. Like I said, you can administer it yourself. You can take it home with you, and the signal doesn't degrade like the scalp EEG. So we've got two dry electrodes that are in the canal, posterior, anterior. They're doing the measuring. We've got a third reference sensor that's in the concha, and it's referencing the opposite side of the head, and then we can pick up data on both sides of the brain, which will be really helpful for the bitemporal seizure analysis. All right, so here's the ear shell, ton of real estate to utilize. We have our custom boards with accelerometers, gyroscopes, preamplifier. We got a sensor array of EEG, EMG, ECG, but you can also use other off-the-shelf sensors, temperature, ultimately glucose, and then you can also put a pulse ox sensor in there too, a transducer, balance armature for comm, you name it. But you can stack a lot of cool stuff in there. All right, so the last innovation, that's combining DSP with biomedical informatics and machine learning for specific medical domains. And so we have a continuous AI backend that can be adapted for specific domains. We have an algorithm platform that can house multiple algorithms. And then the algorithm we wrote for seizure detection, we did by leveraging hundreds of thousands of hours of EEG recordings from some 10,000 epilepsy patients. And we're training that for the year. So I sold the first version of our product. We're on version 3 right now, about 2 years ago, to neuroscientists at very large consumer electronics companies, research hospitals, and then pharmaceutical companies. These neuroscientists did their own ambulatory study. They slept in it. They saw we got good alpha, beta, delta. as good as the scalp, and then more importantly, our response time was as good, if not better, especially around the ear. But we've been exploring a lot of different use cases for many years. We did a white paper with Thad Starner, who invented Google Glass, on steady-state visual evoked potentials. But there's many military applications. There's many consumer applications. And that's because the ear is a physiological playground. Just need the right tech to open that gate. All right, so yeah, experts in optics, machine vision, medical devices, but the guy that I'm highlighting here is Dr. Gary Clifford. Gary is the chairman of the bioinformatics department at Emory and Georgia Tech. It's a joint program. He's writing our seizure detection algorithm and then also helping our licensees for their specific medical use cases. All right, so in conclusion, yes, we control the enabling technology even for our hearing aid licensee, and that should and that will enable ambulatory longitudinal studies on the brain. And we believe we can obtain signals that the scalp cannot, that's scalp negative. That combined with licensing should unlock a tremendous amount of innovation, around the human ear. And quite frankly, a lot of that innovation is going to come from small companies or from brilliant researchers like the ones that Lisa always gets together. But we also need to work with the big companies, which we do. And we want to leverage their brand. We want to leverage their know-how and distribution and capital for more consumer-facing medical applications, like early indicators of Alzheimer's, dementia, or Parkinson's. Everybody in this room should be wearing it for that. Now, yeah, where's a 0 to 1 economic and scientific opportunity? It's not N to 1, it's 0 to 1, or whatever you're calling it these days here in Silicon Valley. I don't know much, I'm from Atlanta. But what I do know is that this is a wearable, because it can achieve real medical efficacy, can get all the stakeholders aligned. It benefits the patients, their families, the clinicians, the hospitals, the payors, and ultimately it can benefit everyone with a pair of ears. Thank you for your time.